Let's see now what weekly news magazines have been saying around the world. And to help us do that, we have Florence Villeminot with us. Hi, Flo.
Hi, Jeannie.
All right, let's start with Jeune Afrique. It's focusing on Algeria, a country that has elections just a few months away now.
That's right. Jeune Afrique says that with just a couple of months to go, nobody can predict what the outcome is going to be for Algeria and its 38 million Algerians. It's like a black hole. And you can see the front page here. It says that Algeria is jumping into the void. And according to this article, you get the sense in Algeria these days that fortune tellers and astrologists and everything are doing very well because nobody knows what the outcome is going to be. And actually, if we can take a look at the front page again, you can see the current president, Abdelaziz Bouteflika, looking into a crystal ball, trying to figure out who's going to win that election on April 27th. One of the biggest mysteries, actually, according to Jeune Afrique, is whether or not Bouteflika himself will run in this election. There have been a lot of rumors about his health, for instance. And according to the magazine, in the meantime, with all this confusion, the political class is very much paralyzed.
Staying with Africa, Flo, it's also the main focus of Courrier International.
That's right. Courrier International wonders who controls Africa. And inside the magazine goes into more detail about what they mean by this question. And they talk about France's military operation in Mali and the Central African Republic, which has been backed by the US and the European Union. But according to this magazine, it's actually quite controversial. And Courrier International actually quotes an article from La Tribune in Algeria, which accuses the West of actually using all this as a pretext to try and get its hands on the local resources. Now, according to other papers also quoted in Courrier International this week, all this shows the weakness of the African Union, which is very much paralyzed by the personal ambitions of certain regional players. For instance, Courrier International talks about Idriss Déby, who's the president of Chad. He's been president since 1990, and according to Courrier International, a lot of people and critics say that he's actually pulling a lot of strings in the Central African Republic for his own personal gains.
Courrier International is also focusing on how the international press has been reacting to the French president, François Hollande, and what they call his liberal turn.
That's right. Ever since his New Year's address, we've been seeing a new Hollande, a very social democrat, pro-business Hollande. Now, the French press has been mostly embracing this change, but according to Courrier International, the international press, it's a different story. It's been a lot more shocked, more skeptical, and actually somewhat disappointed. And Courrier International actually quotes Paul Krugman in the New York Times when he said that he was disappointed to hear Hollande trumpeting these very old-fashioned right-wing policies. Now, Courrier International also quotes other papers who may have been a little bit more in favor of this policy shift, but who say that actually it's a little bit too late, too little too late, according to El País, who says that, well, Hollande doesn't have anything to lose. He's already lost everything.
Well, here in France, Hollande is coming under fire from the right-wing press.
That's right. Now, Hollande has vowed to cut public spending. He's vowed to cut it by 50 billion euros between 2015 and 2017. Well, Le Point says, time to show us the money, give us back the money. Now, during his New Year's address, Hollande said he was really going to make this his top priority, and he vowed to personally oversee this cut in government spending. But as you can see, Le Point, well, doesn't really think this is a promise that he's going to hold on to.
All right, let's move on to L'Express, which is claiming that McDonald's, that fast food giant, is actually evading French taxes.
That's right. This is an exclusive in L'Express this week that we've been hearing a lot about in other media as well. Now, L'Express says that the French branch of McDonald's has transferred a lot of its profits abroad to evade French taxes. And according to the report in Express that you can see here, McDonald's has transferred 2.2 billion euros to foreign tax havens since 2009. And L'Express actually quotes French tax officials who say that this money was sent to subsidiaries in Luxembourg and in Switzerland, thereby evading VAT and corporate taxes in France. It's important to note that McDonald's has come back after this article was published and denies any wrongdoing and says that it's not breaking any laws by doing these transfers. It's actually paying all the taxes it needs to pay in France. But the main story on the front page of L'Express this week is about health and a very modern health problem. the burnout. And according to L'Express, it's the evil of our century. 1 in 5 workers are work at risk, rather, of burning out. And so L'Express takes a closer look at how to avoid burning out and how to see the signs that you might be about to burn out.
Okay, Flo, we couldn't finish this press review with perhaps the subject here in France, much more than President Hollande would perhaps like, his private life and all the scandal surrounding it.
That's right. You can't avoid it. It's the melodramatic story of the moment. So François Hollande, his love life, accusations that he's been having this affair with an actress. Now, Nouvelle Obs takes a closer look at all this because it all started with some photos that were published in that magazine, Closer, those famous photos of him with that motorcycle helmet. And so Nouvelle Obs takes a look at the power of the paparazzi, and it points out, they've always been everywhere. They are everywhere, but it points out that with this scandal, there's been a real shift in the way the French media takes a look at the private lives of very public politicians.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Florence Villeminot, for that look at the press this week. Thanks to you for watching France 24. Have a great weekend.